Hi, how are you? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Melanie. So today I want to talk a little bit about spiritual bypassing because it seems that that is a tendency that a lot of us fall into. It's a trap that we fall into once we undergo a spiritual awakening, because the spiritual awakening happens to um, bring back to our attention, to remind us that we are not the body, the ego, the person, and that you are actually a consciousness. Your soul is your consciousness that is observing you, the person, and you are living out the life of you, the person, right? So then it seems that the trap is that we feel that we are enlightened and we should not be lowering ourselves into human drama, that we shouldn't even be lowering ourselves to feel our own anxieties or any negative emotions or anything like that. And that's a shame, because ironically that mindset is actually a mindset, as in that is coming from the ego. That's number one. But the main thing is that we are incarnated as humans to feel those emotions. That's why our soul wanted to be a human down here on earth, so that it gets to experience all of those emotions. And it's important to live them and work through them, because it is part of your evolution. It's your soul's growth, and that's really the objective of your soul, is to learn and to evolve through that. So if you attempt, because that's really all you're going to do is attempt, you're not going to really succeed in bypassing, then you're attempting to skim over your own experiences that you're supposed to feel. So hopefully that makes sense. But what worries me, and this is a big thing that worries me, is that then there comes this tendency to believe that we are not a big deal on a human level, or that our human self is not a big deal, because we realize that we are a consciousness and we are not this human. And that scares me a little bit, because it almost diminishes our human worth. And I want you to remember that there is only one human being like you that has ever existed and ever will exist. You can't put a number on that. You can't say 1 in 10 billion. You are the only one. And your soul created you uniquely, especially to live out the experiences that it is wishing to live out. So, and you do only get that one life as you, the human. And I know that you, when you do wake up and you learn, you realize and you come to find out that we've actually lived thousands of lives. But that still does not diminish the life you're living now. Each of those thousands of lives are just as unique and special, and they all had their purpose, their individual unique purpose to your soul's evolution. So it's almost as if you want to go back to the mindset you had before your awakening, when perhaps you felt that this was it. So you may have had the idea that life is short, you only get to live once, so, you know, I'm going to live while I'm alive, I'm going to sleep when I'm dead, and I've got a bucket list. That's actually, ironically, where you want to get back to still. Like, don't bypass that. Don't bypass, because you are only going to be you for hopefully many, many more decades. Time doesn't actually exist in the spiritual planes, or the planes, the higher frequencies. Time does not exist in the higher frequencies above our human level. So again, just as your souls and the universe has created the human experience. It has created the concept of time for you to experience your life in a linear order so that you can experience your soul growth. And your human self really is just as much as part of the divine, because the divine is everything and everywhere. So that includes wildlife, the oceans, the trees, the plants. It involves the heavens and the stars, and it involves everything, and that includes you, the human. So you are very, very unique, and you are very sovereign. And I want to make sure that that message is shouted out to the mountaintops. It's important. And okay, so you may definitely resonate with that, but you may still feel the tendency to spiritual bypass anyway. And that really does not make your problems go away. I'm sure you've noticed. I know I noticed. One form of spiritual bypassing, and it's actually not supposed to be, but some folks might see meditation as a form of spiritual bypassing. And really, meditation is not designed for that. Meditation is designed for you to be quiet and at peace with the universe, so that you can have your connection with the divine and your spirit guides and your ancestors or anyone on the other side, that you can have that connection with how you are perceiving the spirit world. It's like you're laying everything down and you are at peace, so that you can be open and allow to just stop and listen, usually as you are just maybe focusing on your breath, so that you're not focusing on any other drama going on in your mind, so that you can basically let spirit communicate with you. In other words, it's like having an open phone line so that you can receive their messages, because when we are living our crazy everyday lives, we're just not picking up the phone. We're not seeing that they're trying to reach us. So meditation is a beautiful form of doing that. It's not the only form, but it is definitely a beautiful form that, yes, I know it takes practice. But it's not designed to take over and to camouflage over, or just gloss over aspects in your life. Your soul wants you to experience grief and anger and sadness and maybe heartbreak, and it also wants you to experience joy and happiness and love and all of those. And that's why you are here as a human, and you are an integral part of the divinity. It's all combined. Think of it as the number 3, the Holy Trinity. You've got the body, mind, and soul. They're all integrated together. So, your soul needs the mind and body in order to evolve. Your body needs the mind and soul, and your mind needs the body and soul, right? So it all works hand in hand. And yes, it is a beautiful awareness that you come to if you are lucky enough in this lifetime, that you realize that you are not this human self and that you are the observer. That does kind of take the edge of a lot of sadness, and it even neutralizes experiences that could actually be otherwise devastating. And I understand that, and that's great. But you are still experiencing them, and you still want to allow. It's not that you have a spiritual awakening and that you are required to be happy and at peace all the time. You're just required, I suppose, I've said this before, but just to follow your heart and to follow your intuition, so that you can be open to spirit and your own inner guidance to guide you on your life's path. But it's all part of your, I suppose, big picture, your evolution. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense for you, because I don't like to ramble too much, but I do have a tendency to ramble. So yeah, that's really all I wanted to say, is to say that you are always a divine human being. It's just that you are now at a place where you are realizing that you are the observer, and that you could lean into that even, and then just enjoy your time here. Sorry, I had to pause there because of the car. Um, so yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. I want to thank you so much for staying with me to the end of the video if you've made it this far. As you can see, I am a very young channel, so you know, help. No, I really do appreciate the likes and the subscribes, please. That will be like that would make my world, to see the numbers begin to raise. I have a lot to say on spiritual topics, spiritual awakening in general. That's what this channel is for, to help twin flames, but not only, because a twin flame connection is just one way that your soul can trigger you onto a spiritual awakening. It's all connected, you know, just the whole general premise of the video, I guess. Everything is connected. So with that, thank you again, and I'll see you next time. Take care. God bless. Bye bye.